Manny Ramirez was one of the MLB's top stars. Fans loved him, but the controversy of performance-enhancing drug use and the revelation of assault by his wife shattered his image. But before we proceed, don't forget to subscribe. Ramirez's career took a sudden and shocking turn on April 8, 2011. After struggling at the plate in his first 5 games of the season, managing just 1 hit in 17 at-bats, with no home runs and only 1 RBI, he made the abrupt decision to retire. But behind this surprising exit was a deeper story that would soon come to light. During spring training, Ramirez had reportedly tested positive for a banned performance-enhancing drug. When the initial sample, known as the A sample, was retested, it once again showed a positive result. Determined to fight the allegations, Ramirez filed an appeal, leading to the testing of his second sample, or B sample. However, under the watchful eye of his representatives, the B sample also came back positive. Faced with the reality of the situation, Ramirez chose to drop his appeal. Rather than continue with the process, Ramirez informed Major League Baseball that he would retire immediately. This decision came with significant consequences, as Ramirez was staring down a 100-game suspension, which would still be enforced if he ever decided to make a return to the league. Major League Baseball issued a statement acknowledging that Ramirez had been informed of a violation under the Joint Drug Prevention and Treatment Program. Instead of pursuing the appeal process, Ramirez opted for retirement. Interestingly, neither Ramirez nor the MLB Players Association made any public comments regarding the sudden retirement. In fact, the Tampa Bay Rays, the team Ramirez was playing for at the time, weren't even directly informed by him about his decision. They learned of his retirement through the MLB Commissioner's office, leaving fans in the baseball world to wonder what could have been if Manny had chosen a different path. But this wasn't the end of his controversies. In September 2011, Ramirez found himself in trouble again, but this time it wasn't related to baseball. He was accused of slapping his wife and was charged with misdemeanor battery in Florida. However, Ramirez claimed that all he did was grab her shoulders during an argument. The legal battle dragged on for months, but in March 2012, the charges were dropped because his wife refused to cooperate with the prosecution. It was yet another chapter in the turbulent life of a once great baseball star. But while he had his serious moments off the field, he was also well known for his quirky, fun-loving personality that often clashed with the more serious, traditional culture of Major League Baseball. His antics became so famous that people started referring to them as Manny moments, or the more popular phrase, Manny being Manny. Over the years, Ramirez's behavior both amused and baffled fans, teammates, and coaches alike. One of the more bizarre stories is when he convinced his Red Sox teammates, including Ellis Burks, to drink alcohol that he had secretly spiked with Viagra. Then there was the time he wore Oakley Thump sunglasses while playing in the outfield, which raised more than a few eyebrows. Who could forget when he disappeared through a door in the Green Monster at Fenway Park during a game to use the bathroom? Or when he hilariously dove to intercept a throw from his teammate Johnny Damon, even though it was intended for the infield? Manny also once tried selling his barbecue grill on eBay, adding to the list of odd yet entertaining moments. One of his most memorable Manny being Manny moments came when he made a great catch at the outfield wall, high-fived a fan, and then casually threw the ball back to the infield to complete a double play. These incidents were so iconic that the phrase Manny being Manny became part of baseball folklore, with the first known usage of it credited to then Indians manager Mike Hargrove in a 1995 Newsday article. Through it all, Manny Ramirez's unpredictable and often outrageous behavior only added to his legend. He was a player who could amaze you with his talent and leave you scratching your head with his antics, all in the same game. From his early years, he was obsessed with baseball, which led to further success in his career. Ramirez was born in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, to Aristides and Onelcita Ramirez. He spent the first 13 years of his life there, completely obsessed with baseball. Even as a young boy, the sport was everything to him. When he was 8, his grandmother gave him a Dodgers uniform with the number 30 on the back, and Manny treasured it like it was gold. In 1985, when he was still a teenager, his family moved to New York City, settling in the Washington Heights neighborhood. Though they lived just a short distance from Yankee Stadium, Ramirez didn't root for the hometown team. Instead, he was a die-hard fan of the Toronto Blue Jays because of Dominican stars George Bell and Tony Fernandez. Manny even went to Yankee Stadium to cheer on the Blue Jays whenever they came to town. Ramirez attended George Washington High School from 1987 to 1991, but left at 19 without graduating. Despite his later fame, he was modest during his high school years and preferred to stay out of the spotlight. George Washington High School, located in an area with a growing number of immigrants, had a baseball team made up entirely of Dominican players. Ramirez led the team to 3 straight division championships and quickly established himself as a rising star. In his junior year in 1990, he posted an incredible .633 batting average and hit 16 home runs. By his senior year, he was a force to be reckoned with, hitting .150 with 14 home runs in just 22 games. His talent earned him the title of New York City Public School Player of the Year in 1991, making him a 3-time All-City selection in baseball. His career was one like none other. Ramirez was drafted by the Cleveland Indians in the first round of the 1991 MLB draft, coming in as the 13th overall pick. The team signed him with a $250,000 bonus and assigned him to the rookie-level Burlington Indians for his professional debut. Manny quickly made a name for himself, hitting 19 home runs and driving in 63 runs in just 59 games. His impressive performance earned him the Appalachian League MVP and Baseball America's Short Season Player of the Year title. In 1992, Ramirez moved up to the Single-A Kinston Indians, where he battled some injuries but still managed a .278 average with 13 home runs and 63 RBIs in 81 games. Baseball America ranked him as the number 3 prospect and the most exciting player in the Carolina League. By 1993, he was the Minor League Player of the Year, hitting .333 with 31 homers and 115 RBIs across AA Canton Akron and AAA Charlotte Knights. Manny made his MLB debut on September 2, 1993 against the Minnesota Twins. Though he went hitless in his first game, he quickly turned things around. The next day at Yankee Stadium, with many of his family and friends watching, he hit his first 2 home runs. His first MLB hit was a bit of a mix-up, a double that bounced into the seats, leading him to mistakenly think he had a home run. Still, he ended up with a strong performance, hitting homers in his final 2 at-bats. In 1994, Manny's rookie season, he showed promise by hitting 6 home runs in April and finishing with 17 homers and 60 RBIs in 91 games. The Indians were in a tight race with the Chicago White Sox for the AL Central title until the season ended early due to the MLB strike. Manny finished second in Rookie of the Year voting. His breakout season came in 1995. He batted .308 with 31 home runs and 107 RBIs, earned a spot in the All-Star game, and won his first Silver Slugger Award. The Indians made it to the postseason, where Manny hit 2 home runs in the AL Championship Series, although the team lost to the Atlanta Braves in the World Series. In December 1995, he signed a $10-15 million 4-year contract with the Indians. Manny continued to excel in 1996 with a .309 average, 33 home runs, and 112 RBIs. The Indians reached the playoffs again, and Manny hit .375 with 2 homers in the AL Division Series. The following year, his power dipped slightly, but he hit .320 with 26 home runs and 88 RBIs. The Indians made it to the World Series but lost to the Florida Marlins. In 1998, Manny's power surged as he hit .294 with 45 home runs and 145 RBIs, earning another All-Star selection. He was impressive in the playoffs, but the Indians fell short in the AL Championship Series against the Yankees. In 1999, Manny had an outstanding season, hitting .337 with 165 RBIs, setting a new Indians single-season record. Despite missing 15 games, he finished 3rd in AL MVP voting. Unfortunately, he struggled in the postseason, going 1 for 18 as the Indians were eliminated. Injuries tried to stop him, but he fought against all odds. In 2000, Ramirez faced injuries that limited him to 118 games, but still managed a career-high .351 average with 38 home runs and 122 RBIs. His return helped the Indians make a strong push, but they fell short of the playoffs, finishing behind the Chicago White Sox in the AL Central. Manny's final game with the Indians ended on a high note with a home run, marking a memorable end to his time in Cleveland before heading into free agency. In November 2000, the Cleveland Indians offered Manny Ramirez a 7-year, $119 million contract, which would have made him the highest-paid player in baseball at the time. But Ramirez and his agent, Jeff Murad, turned it down, aiming for a 10-year, $200 million deal instead. The New York Yankees and Seattle Mariners were interested, but in December, Manny signed with the Boston Red Sox for 8 years and $160 million, with options for 2009 and 2010 that could push the total value to $200 million over 10 years. Ramirez made an immediate impact with the Red Sox, hitting .408 in April 2001. By the All-Star break, he had a .335 average with 26 home runs and 84 RBIs. Despite some hamstring issues later in the season, he finished with a .306 average, 41 home runs, and 125 RBIs, setting a franchise record for most home runs by a first-year Red Sox player. On June 23rd, he hit 2 massive home runs against the Toronto Blue Jays at Fenway Park, with the second one reaching the very top of the light tower in left field, a 501-foot blast that was the second longest in Fenway Park's history. He also hit a 491-foot home run at the Sky Dome, the longest in that ballpark's history. Unfortunately, the Red Sox didn't make the postseason in 2001. In 2002, Manny played only 120 games due to a hamstring injury that put him on the disabled list from mid-May to the end of June. Even so, he won the AL batting title with a .349 average, including a .438 average against left-handed pitchers. He hit 33 home runs and drove in 107 runs. He also hit his 300th career home run on August 26th. However, the Red Sox missed the playoffs again that year. 2003 was another strong year for Ramirez with a .325 average, 37 home runs, and 104 RBIs. Despite a bout of pharyngitis that caused some controversy, Manny was spotted in a bar. Despite being listed as too ill to play, he contributed significantly. In the division series, he hit a go-ahead 3-run home run off Barry Zito, and in the ALCS, he was involved in a bench-clearing brawl after being hit by a pitch. Despite hitting .310 with 2 home runs in the ALCS, the Red Sox were defeated by the Yankees in Game 7. During the 2004 offseason, the Red Sox tried to trade Ramirez to free up salary space, but no team was willing to take on his contract. It was later revealed that Ramirez had tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs in a 2003 survey test, although no penalties were imposed at the time. In 2004, Ramirez led the AL with 43 home runs, a .613 slugging percentage, and a 1.019 OPS. He finished second in errors committed as a left fielder, but was also a key player in the Red Sox's successful season. He and David Ortiz became the first AL teammates to each hit 40 home runs, drive in 100 RBIs, and bat .300 since Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig in 1931. Manny hit a 2-run home run in the All-Star game and played a crucial role in the Red Sox's postseason, including hitting .412 in the World Series, where the Red Sox swept the Cardinals to win their first championship in 86 years. Ramirez was named World Series MVP and finished third in AL MVP voting. In 2005, Ramirez hit his 400th home run and his 20th career Grand Slam. He also had his highest single-season RBI total as a Red Sox with 144. Despite his performance, he was involved in trade rumors throughout the season and expressed a desire to be traded. By the end of the year, he had listed his condo for sale, but later retracted his trade request. In 2006, Ramirez hit his 450th career home run and reached his 2000th hit. He had a 28-game hitting streak and finished the season with a .321 average, 35 home runs, and 102 RBIs. Despite his individual success, the Red Sox missed the playoffs. In 2007, Ramirez hit 4 consecutive home runs in a game against the Yankees and became the 5th player to hit 50 career home runs against them. He finished the season with a .996 average, 20 home runs, and 88 RBIs. In the postseason, he hit a walk-off 3-run home run in the ALDS and helped the Red Sox win the World Series, earning his 2nd championship ring. In 2008, Ramirez celebrated his 2000th game and hit his 500th career home run. However, he had a public altercation with teammate Kevin Youkilis and a physical confrontation with a Red Sox staff member. Despite these issues, Ramirez continued to hit well, finishing the season with a .299 average, 20 home runs, and 68 RBIs, though the Red Sox did not make the playoffs. He then took his spirit to the Los Angeles Dodgers, https joshua.b skmbcnmdfca psi 4AKUY Jenin 16A JQB 220 to 2.26. On July 31, 2008, Manny Ramirez was traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers in a big three-team deal. The Red Sox got outfielder Jason Bay and minor league infielder Josh Wilson, while the Pittsburgh Pirates received infielder Andy LaRoche and pitching prospect Brian Morris from the Dodgers, plus outfielder Brandon Moss and pitcher Craig Hansen from the Red Sox. Ramirez, who had always worn number 24, had to pick a new number since the Dodgers had retired 24 for Hall of Fame manager Walter Alston. He chose number 99 instead. Ramirez hit the ground running with the Dodgers, going 2 for 4 in his debut and hitting his first home run the next day. He was named the NL Player of the Month for August 2008, with an impressive .415 average, 44 hits, 7 doubles, 9 home runs, 25 RBIs, and 21 runs scored. By the end of the season, Ramirez had a .396 batting average, 17 home runs, and 53 RBIs in just 53 games. Overall, he hit .332 with 37 home runs and 121 RBIs for the year. In 2008, Ramirez ranked 3rd in batting average, 2nd in slugging percentage, and 3rd in OPS among all major leaguers. His performance helped the Dodgers win the NL West and advance to the NLCS, though they lost to the Philadelphia Phillies. During the playoffs, Ramirez was on fire, hitting .520 with 4 home runs, 2 doubles, 11 walks, and 10 RBIs. He finished 4th in the NL MVP voting, an impressive feat given he played less than half the season in the NL. After the season, Ramirez signed a 2-year, $45 million deal to stay with the Dodgers. In 2009, Ramirez started strong, but was suspended for 50 games on May 7 for violating MLB's drug policy. He claimed the violation was due to a banned medication prescribed by a doctor. After his suspension, he made a comeback on July 3rd and continued to hit well. However, he was also ejected on July 7th for arguing a strike call. Ramirez finished the season with a .290 average, 19 home runs, and 63 RBIs in 104 games. The Dodgers were knocked out of the playoffs by the Phillies again. In 2010, Ramirez hit his 2,500th career hit on April 10th and his 548th career home run on April 18th, tying Mike Schmidt for 14th place on the all-time home run list. He moved past Schmidt with his 549th home run on May 28, but he had 3 stints on the disabled list during the season and lost his starting job to Scott Podsednik. Ramirez was ejected as a pinch hitter on August 29 and played his final game with the Dodgers. He ended the year with a .311 average, 8 home runs, and 40 RBIs in 66 games before being placed on waivers. After being placed on waivers, Manny Ramirez was picked up by the Chicago White Sox on August 30, 2010. The Dodgers sent him over without getting any prospects in return, but the White Sox took on the $3.8 million left on Ramirez's contract. The White Sox hoped Ramirez would help them with a playoff push, but he only hit .261 with 1 home run and 2 RBIs in 24 games. The White Sox ended up missing the playoffs, finishing the season with an 88-74 record, 6 games behind the AL Central leaders. On January 21, 2011, Ramirez signed a 1-year, $2 million deal with the Tampa Bay Rays, who also brought in his former Red Sox teammate, Johnny Damon. Ramirez looked promising during spring training, hitting .311 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. However, just 5 games into the regular season, Ramirez retired abruptly on April 8th. He had struggled, batting just .059 with no home runs and 1 RBI. The sudden retirement was linked to Ramirez testing positive for a banned performance-enhancing drug. His initial sample came back positive, and after the second sample confirmed the result, he decided to retire rather than face a potential 100-game suspension. MLB announced that Ramirez had been informed of the issue under the drug policy and chose to retire instead of appealing. The Rays found out about Ramirez's retirement from the MLB commissioner's office, as he didn't inform the team personally. Then came the time to end it all. In September 2011, Manny Ramirez planned to play in the Dominican Winter League for the Chibao Eagles, hoping to encourage other MLB stars to join him. However, the MLB commissioner's office said he couldn't play there because he still had a 100-game suspension to serve. When his Winter League plans fell through, Ramirez decided to serve his suspension and requested to be reinstated by MLB. He made it clear he wasn't ready to retire and was open to playing for any MLB team, or even in Japan if needed. On December 4th, it was announced that Ramirez would only have to serve a 50-game suspension instead of 100. On February 20th, 2012, he signed a minor league contract with the Oakland Athletics, which included a $500,000 salary if he made the MLB roster. However, he had to complete his suspension before he could play. He was eligible to return on May 30th, 2012. He played 17 games with the Sacramento River Cats, hitting .302, but had no home runs and a .349 slugging percentage. On June 15th, Ramirez was released by the Athletics. Ramirez then played in the Dominican Professional Baseball League during the 2012-13 offseason, where he had a .793 OPS with the Águilas Cibaeñas. In 2013, he joined the EDA Rhinos in Taiwan's Chinese Professional Baseball League. He did well there, batting .352 with 8 home runs and 43 RBIs in 49 games. But on June 19, 2013, he opted out of his contract to be closer to his family. He signed a minor league deal with the Texas Rangers on July 3, 2013, and was sent to the Round Rock Express. Due to a drop in his bat speed and power, he was released on August 13. Ramirez signed a minor league deal with the Chicago Cubs on May 25, 2014, to serve as a player coach for the Iowa Cubs. He hit a 2-run home run in his first game at Principal Park on June 30th. He was praised for mentoring young players like Arismendi Alcantara and Javier Baez. However, on August 23rd, he injured his knee, and by the end of the season, he was no longer with the team. In April 2020, Ramirez showed interest in returning to the Chinese Professional Baseball League, but didn't get a contract. He also considered playing winter baseball with the Auckland Tuatara in New Zealand, depending on how the COVID-19 pandemic affected the league's season. On August 29, 2020, he signed a 1-year deal with the Sydney Blue Sox in the Australian Baseball League as a player coach. Despite his enthusiasm for the city and role, he was released on January 11, 2021 without playing due to ongoing medical issues and uncertainty about the season. That is it for this one, but if you happen to like MLB legends, make sure to check out our latest videos on our channel Baseball Icons. I'm sure you will love it. Oh, and while you are at it, drop a comment telling us who to cover next, and don't forget to subscribe.